everyone. I'm Becky Andrews. Welcome to Walking Through Wilson. Today, we're here with District Attorney Jason Lawson and Sarah Buckles, and you guys are going to talk to us about an expungement clinic. It's a very important event coming up. But first, I want to hear a little bit about you, Jason.
I'm Jason Lawson. I'm the District Attorney for the 15th Judicial District. I was appointed to this position on April the 7th of 2021 by Governor Lee when my predecessor, General Tommy Thompson, retired after 44 years of service to our district. I was elected to my first full term last August, and so I'm enjoying the position. I've been in it for just over two years now, I guess.
Wow, that's great. And Sarah?
I'm Sarah Buckles with the American Job Center with the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development. So I'm in the business service team, and basically I help to provide solutions for staffing for businesses.
Okay, great. And the expungement clinic, this is something you guys held your first one just a few months ago, right?
Yes, back in October.
So tell us a little bit about this. This is a program where people who may have had a misdemeanor or felony on their record, they can get that taken off. So tell me about the program and what it does.
We have basically put a full service clinic together where individuals can come in and have things possibly expunged from their record.
So tell us, Jason, about the expungement. What does that mean for people?
Expungement is a process where a person has been convicted of a crime, and that can actually be erased from your record and taken off and no longer be an impediment. There are very limited situations under the law where expungement applies. One is if you completed a diversion program, which means you were a first-time offender and the court put you under a special program. A second is if a case was dismissed. The third of which, though, is the legislature has actually passed a law that for people who have been convicted of certain types of crimes and they have completed their sentence without any sort of problems, and a set period of time has ran after the completion of those crimes to make sure that the person didn't reoffend, they actually have one opportunity to come in and to have that conviction erased from their record.
Now, what prompted you guys to do this?
We are trying to alleviate some barriers to employment because job seekers are not able to further their careers and get better jobs, and it affects their education and housing.
So what the date of your last clinic was?
Back in October.
And you guys had more than 100 people that came through the clinic, correct?
We had about 38 total that came through, and we passed out about 166 expungements.
And this next one coming up is April 27th?
Correct.
Okay, and how does someone find out, how do they register for this?
They would go to the flyer. There is a QR code. There is also a link, and if needed, they could email me with any information about how to. And
what's your email address?
It is Sarah, SARAH, Buckles, BUCKLES, @tn.gov.
Is there a website, or do you have a social media that people can go to as well?
They can go to the American Job Center / Murfreesboro, and they can see the flyer there as well.
Okay, and you guys are expecting quite a few, I'm sure, at this next event because the last one was so successful.
Correct.
And so, Jason, let's talk about how you qualified for this program.
This law actually was passed several years ago by the General Assembly, and when they first passed it, they made it only available to Class E felonies and Class A misdemeanors, but it wasn't available to all of those. On Class A misdemeanors, they have a list of crimes that they say, although this is a Class A misdemeanor, certain crimes are excluded and not able to be expunged. Things like domestic violence, things like DUI. For most Class A misdemeanors, however, if that's what you have on your record, you can get it expunged. We see a lot of people with misdemeanor drug charges, things of that nature that are showing up, misdemeanor thefts such as shoplifting. We see things like that are often expunged. Then when it comes to the felony crime, they actually did the reverse. They said that most felonies are not eligible for expungement. However, they put a list of Class E felonies and said certain felonies we will permit expungement for. Over time, the General Assembly has expanded that, and they've also included Class D and Class E felonies, and they also have a list of eligible felonies. So when a person applies, the first thing we have to look at is when were they convicted, did they successfully complete their sentence, and was one of the felonies or misdemeanors things that are eligible offenses to be expunged.
Now, whenever you do all of these questions, they have to serve, like once they serve their sentence, sentence or probation or whatever, there has to be a certain amount of time between completion and when they can qualify. Tell me about that.
Yes, ma'am, and there's a good reason for that. Of course, if it's something that was dismissed, they were found not guilty of, there is no time period for that. However, when it comes to something they were actually convicted of, if it is a Class A misdemeanor or a Class E felony, which is our lowest class of felony, those crimes you have to have 5 years of good lawful behavior after the completion of the sentence. For Class C and Class D felonies, you have to have 10 years of good and lawful behavior after the completion of the sentence. So sometimes people will call us and they say, this is the crime, and we look and it's been 8 years. And we'll tell them, if it is a Class C or Class D felony, this is the date when you become eligible. Sometimes we find out and we are able to convey that information to them at the expungement clinic that we're talking about. Sometimes it is a lower class of crime and we are beyond the 5-year mark, and we're able to go ahead and get that done.
And so when they complete the 5-year, 10-year, they come to this clinic and then it's done that evening. Is that right?
It's intended to be one-stop shopping. The purpose of the clinic is to have prosecutors there who can review the cases and to sign off on our agreement from the state of Tennessee that they are eligible for expungement. It's to have lawyers from the public defender's office and from the private bar who are there to assist people in filling out the paperwork and the application, and to also advise them on the best way to go. There are people from the clerk's office there to look to see if they've paid all of their fines and their court costs, and making sure that they don't have any outstanding obligations. And then there's a judge there to sign off and make it official and to complete the expungement process. Once that's done, that is sent to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and in effect it's taken off their record as if it never existed.
So how is this program funded?
Basically, everybody is volunteering their time to be there at this clinic.
Why do you think it's important that we have this program?
So, when you work in our criminal justice system, you see people who come through there. And we do see a lot of low-level first-time offenders. And now they have something on their record because they committed a crime and they've been prosecuted and they owe a debt to society that has to be paid. And once that debt is paid, though, this should not be an impediment to prevent them from living a normal life and being a normal, productive citizen. Especially because it is limited to one-time expungements and it is for first-time offenders and things of that nature. We're talking about people who they have this one impediment that if we can just have that removed, employers will hire them, they'll be able to live a normal life, to be a productive citizen, and we won't see them driven back into the criminal justice system because they can't find any other opportunities. And I know that people call my office from time to time and they ask about getting things expunged, and we give them the option of going to the clerk's office today and to working and filling out that paperwork if they so choose to do that now. But we also let them know that there is an expungement clinic coming up and that there will be people to help them if they want to come to that clinic. So that is something, and I think at this point, I believe we've had about 47 who have already called our office about this April clinic that's coming up, and so we're looking forward to having a good turnout.
How does that work, though, just expunging it? I mean, how does that work?
Well, it really is a court order, and so that's the end result of what we're looking for. So if a judge signs an order that says take this off this person's record, and all of the places where that would normally show up, they get a copy of that, they'll actually go in, and in the clerk's office, they will basically destroy the paper file, it will be shredded, and in the computer system, it will be blacked out, their name. So if someone came looking for a crime against so-and-so, when they search their name, it would not show up in the computer system anymore. The same thing with the law enforcement database. We have a national crimes information database so that if someone is stopped on a traffic stop out of state, they would run them through the national crimes information database. Before, on things that were not expunged, it would not, those things would show up. Right. And however, now it's not going to show up anymore. Well, certainly they can call the district attorney's office if they want more information. Mm-hmm. We're one of the partners, and so that's why I kind of deferred to Sarah a little bit with respect to that question. But we are one of the partners to the clinic, and so if people are looking for information, they can call our office. My phone number at the DA's office here in Lebanon is 615-443-2863, and then also the phone number for the public defender's office, which is another partner of our in this clinic, is 615-443-2771. So either the public defender's office led by Shelley Thompson or my office would be happy to give more information if requested.
That's impressive that you remember those numbers. I never remember numbers anymore. Not since we all store everything in our phone. So what's the location of the clinic as well?
It will be at the Journey Church at 1240 Leeville Pike on April 27th, which is a Thursday, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay, so about 3 hours. And hopefully by that time they've gotten all their information to you guys, it's checked out, they come and then they're done. That's amazing.
And they need to be pre-registered by April 15th.
There's certainly one thing I'd like to add. So because of the work of Sarah and others relating to this clinic, it's actually expanded beyond just the legal system. There are actually different vendors who are going to be there, who are going to be seeking people who are looking for jobs. There's employment opportunities that will be there. There'll be different companies that will be there, things of those natures that will actually help people get back on their feet. So it's not just an entire focus on the criminal justice system. That's the starting point. But a person could theoretically come there, get their record expunged, and leave there with a job.
Thank you so much for being.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.